Last week we made a general consensus of the eyewitnesses of the Zodiac killer. And so we have him as a white male between the age of 25 and 45, height of 5'10", 200 pounds, glasses, brown hair, and he had an odd walk. Okay, taking a look at this chart of body type for men. If you look over to the right, you can see the height, and the guys in the middle are all taller than 6 feet, so they wouldn't be like the Zodiac. So it's like the guys over to the left. So looking at those three guys, you can see that the Zodiac needed to be like the guy in the middle if he was 200 pounds and 5'10". So now we're going to look at 10 different suspects, and if I was able to find their height and weight and information about their description, I provided that first. If I wasn't able to find that information, or for all of them, I put a side-by-side view of the San Francisco sketch and the picture of the suspect. Arthur Lee Allen, and this is his driver's license dated October 13th, 1967, and it gives a description of him having brown eyes, height of 6 feet, and weight of 250 pounds. So that's a little bit more than our description. And here's a side-by-side view of the Zodiac sketch and Lee Allen. Richard Joseph Gatowski, age 33. And looking at, I couldn't find any information about his height and weight, but you can see the resemblance is pretty close to the sketch and this photograph of him. Lawrence Klein, or Lawrence Kane. So here's a military card, registration card, and on the back has the information. He was 5'10" and 160 pounds when he enrolled for World War II. So he could match the Zodiac's description because he could have gained some weight. And here's a side-by-side view of the sketch and Lawrence Kane. William McDuff Andrew. And here's a side-by-side look at the Zodiac sketch and William when he was age 24. Richard Reed Marshall. And here's a look at his registration card, and if you look on the back, he weighed 155 pounds and was 5'9.5" inches. So he fits right in there with the description if he gained some weight. And here's a side-by-side look at him. Gary Francis Post. And here's a look at a newspaper article. And in the article, he was involved in a car crash and he fractured his leg. So that might mean that he had a limp later. And here's another article, and if you look at the top, it says May 9, 1969, and his father died, and you can see Gary Post lived in Alameda, California, which is right there in the San Francisco Bay Area. And looking at his photo compared to the sketch, there is some resemblance there. Robert Ivan Nichols, and he also went by another name. And here's a side-by-side view of this Zodiac sketch and a photo of him. Paul Duer, and here's a photograph of him out hunting or something, and I wasn't able to find his information, but looking at the sketch of the Zodiac killer and Paul Duer, you can see maybe there's a little bit of resemblance. Ross Mercer Sullivan from Riverside, where Sherry Jo Bates was murdered. And here's a side-by-side look at the Zodiac sketch and Ross. Aubrey Dwight Bailey, and he's kind of a new guy, and here's his Korean War registration card, and then here's a look at the back, and he was 6 feet and weighed 167 pounds, so he's close to the weight, and he had brown hair. And here's a view of the Zodiac sketch and Aubrey and how much they compare. And then I did a second one of Aubrey and the sketch just so you could compare again. Well, this ends this episode of Unsolved, and I'll probably follow up on this video just focusing on the top 3 closest to the description after some more research.